everyone, it's author Sandra Wilson here in the Kindness Kangaroo Library, and I'm all bundled up today because we're reading a story about a snowy day. Samba on a Snowy Day is a story today by Yanuziello and illustrations by Joshua Miller. And so I thought the Kindness Kangaroo should get all wrapped up today to tell you this story. And then we can have a discussion about, maybe you can write a story about a snowy day. The Kindness Kangaroo Library is in southern Ontario in Canada, so we do get quite a bit of snow. And so we will often have our snowy days to play in, which is really fun. It's not so fun to drive in on the snowy days, but let's read now about Samba, who's the dog, and what he did on the snowy day. As Ariella pulled back the curtain in the family room, the reflection of the sun on the snow was blinding. Samba jumped up on the couch and then leaped into Ariella's arms. Samba is a 4-month-old little fur ball. He is a Bernese mountain dog, commonly and lovingly also known as a burner. There they are there on the couch. Ariella is 10 years old. She is originally from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. She came to Canada with her family when she was just a baby. Ariella loves how the snow looks. It can be fun and magical too. Look at all that snow. Ariella got dressed to go outside. She put on her snow pants, the ones with the red suspenders that go right over her shoulders. Whenever Ariella got dressed to go outside, Samba would take full galloping runs at her, then jump on her leg as high as he could go. Very excited about playing outside. She put on her big winter jacket, the one with the hood and mittens attached. As she was putting Samba's harness on him, she realized she should have done this before getting all bundled up. Now she was in big trouble, all bundled up and bent over the puppy. Her mittens that hung from her jacket made a great toy for Samba. Oh no, look at that. Samba, no, she yelled to little effect as she wrestled herself out of her coat and unwrapped her scarf. Ariella made another attempt to put Samba's harness on, as well as his saddlebags. Yes, saddlebags! A friend told Ariella that Bernese mountain dogs are work dogs, and the correct way to train them is to get them used to carrying saddlebags with a light weight. Saddlebags were often filled with potatoes. Ariella went in search of potatoes. She found 2 of the biggest potatoes and put them in the saddlebags, one on each side. Ariella wrapped her scarf around her neck once more, put on her jacket again, and opened the door to begin her snowy adventure. Samba had been outside, but he'd only seen snow from a distance. It was different when you saw it from a window. Now he could feel it, jump in it, and roll around in this lovely white stuff. Samba jumped so high, not just once, not twice, but 3 times, that the potatoes in the saddlebags went flying. Poor Ariella was dragged along behind Samba as he rushed after his potatoes. Ariella had managed to wrap the leash around her hand, but the leash was stuck between her hand and her mitten. Samba hit the first bump of a little snow hill and somersaulted into the air. Ariella went through the same hill and got stuck head first under the snow. They both lay in the snow resting. They had been playing for about 2 minutes. Ariella dug herself out of the snowbank. Samba was twirling around in the snow trying to eat one of the potatoes he had found. Luckily, Ariella had remembered to bring treats. She thought raw potatoes were not good for Samba, even though she wanted him to be a vegetarian. 2 treats later, and Samba was leading Ariella on their walk. He was headed for the forest. Ariella liked the forest too. Once they arrived at the entrance to the forest, Ariella took off Samba's leash. Freedom! Samba was off like a rocket, bounding easily over the snow. He looked like he was at home. The snow must have reminded Samba of his home in the Swiss Alps. Ariella thought as she walked along the path, admiring the beauty of the freshly fallen snow glistening on the trees. Ariella loved the energy of the forest. Tired, Samba walked about 2 steps and then lay down on the snow, all 4 paws spread out. Ariella laughed nervously. He was funny, but also kind of scary. What if Samba wouldn't go home? Ariella thought. Ariella checked how many treats she still had. Only 2 treats left, and a chewed-up potato. She hoped this was enough to get them back home. Okay, Samba, come on. We've got to go home before it gets dark, begged Ariella. Since it would get dark soon, Ariella did not want to go back through the forest just in case she got lost or met some wild animals. She had heard that coyotes liked puppies. She decided they would go through the neighborhood park and slide down the big hill. Okay, Samba, let's go home. She tugged on his leash and Samba got up, but he didn't want to. Ariella broke her treat into 2 pieces. She started walking with the treat in her mitten. Samba was right on it, but Ariella waited as long as possible to give him the treat. They took 4 steps, and Samba stopped. Okay, here, Ariella said. Samba ate the treat, and this seemed to give him some energy. Now they were running, with Samba in the lead and heading straight for the park. Ariella was happy her plan was working. Samba and Ariella continued on their journey. Ariella felt like she just might make it home. Success, she said. Okay, Samba, almost quer comer time, said Ariella. Quer comer means want to eat in Portuguese. Samba knew what it meant, and off he went. Ariella was running to keep up. She slipped and fell as Samba rushed down the hill in search of dinner. They hit the last hill, and both of them flew into the air. But they were home. 1 more treat, Samba? Okay, and another. All gone. You don't want to spoil your appetite for dinner, do you? Ariella opened the back door. Samba bounded into the house, barking and yelping. Hi, we're home, Ariella announced. She kicked off her boots and lay down on the floor. She was really tired. Samba raced for his water bowl, slurping water noisily. A few seconds later, he was slobbering his tongue all over Ariella's face. He was telling Ariella it was definitely time for quer comer. The end. Boy, he really is slobbery, isn't he? All right, so again, Samba on a Snowy Day by Yanuziello. And I will have a link underneath how you can check out the books by Paul and get your own copy of Samba on a Snowy Day. So since I'm all warm and dressed for the weather, maybe I should go on a snowy adventure as well. Now, kangaroos would normally not be around snow because they live in Australia when they wouldn't really get snow in Australia. So I wonder how a kangaroo would feel being in snow. Do you remember the first time you saw snow? Maybe you are like Ariella and you come from a country that doesn't normally get snow. And so when you come to Canada, you see snow for the first time. Or, maybe you live in a southern U.S. and you haven't really had a lot of snow before. Have you ever visited a place that has a lot of snow? If you live in Canada like I do, maybe you get used to snow all the time. But what do you like to do in snow? Do you like to go sledding? Do you build a snowman? Do you have a snowball fights? Maybe there's other things you do. I would love to hear about it. So just like this story talks about Samba on a snowy day, maybe you'd like to write a story about you on a snowy day, or about your pet, or create a character of your own liking, like Kindness Kangaroo. And what would they do on a snowy day? I would love to hear any stories you'd like to share. And remember to join us next time in the Kindness Kangaroo Library for another Storytime session.